Everywhere I've been in the last 10 years, since Bill Clinton's time, the surveillance has been so involved that it's hard to believe. Actually, many times I just wonder how this can be. The ability for me to do things like this at YouTube are exceptional. I love it because it fouls up a lot of plans. It certainly does, and it makes things public that I'd have been pretty much kept in a prison of surveillance so that only certain people are privy to the information that I'm capable of producing. Now, mostly what has happened because of this surveillance, once I began to detect it overtly, even once I understood it covertly, once I understood it without letting anyone know or actually formulating any theories about it, but knowing that it was going on, I clammed up a lot. I shut right up, but they won. This is one of the ways that they dominate you and they keep you in prison outside of a normal prison. They can frame you, they can set you up, and they're not above doing that. But if you realize this kind of thing goes on, you can avoid it pretty well. It's a boring life. You can't step out of line at all, and you can't actually do things that are considered normal with other people because for fear of actually having films made and pieced together digitally, and or your voice being used in ways that you never said actually. But this actually happened to me in Hillsborough County, Florida, Tampa, Florida. I went on TV a couple times, 6 times actually, and caused some people a world of hurt, made them think I was a political threat, and they did some really nasty things. Now, they really shot themselves in the foot, though, because I saw that, and this is back before digital technology really hit. They had it in the university where they were doing this kind of thing in experiments against people in the community in conjunction with law enforcement there. This is before Homeland Security, though, but it's things like this that made Homeland Security what it is today. Anyway, as far as the surveillance is concerned, it sometimes takes a while for it to kick in. Other times I notice right away that it is actively initiated through chemtrailing, which is the auroral technologies, the energized auras, and they can do amazing things with those things. All the imaging capabilities of those things, Bearden talked about that, were in place and exceptional 20 years ago. So you can imagine what they have now. I had to spend 12 days in a VA hospital because of that thing that Bush put on me in Florida, Bush in the Catholic Church. And I don't know what happened in there, actually. I really can't imagine. Plus, I have had an episode with a dentist in Alabama who worked out a trade with me because I barter a lot. If it wasn't for barter, I'd be long dead. That drives them batty, too, because they know that, people could get along without their paper money. And if their paper money goes kaput, all the things they wrote to usurp our judicial and our legal system and the police state that they've instigated and instituted will go away because it's all based on a usurpation of our law, the death of our Constitution by them taking over our currency. Anyway, this dentist, the whole time he was working on some fillings, was doing very odd things and told me during the procedure that this one particular filling, which was a double filling across 2 teeth, was high-tech, would last at least 25 years, and he somehow related this to the fact that the IRS was after him. And so, the guy was giving it away, but not in any plain terms, and it took me a couple years or more to realize that guy put a dental chip in one of my teeth so that then I could be monitored vocally. And I knew this for quite some time. When I went out to New Mexico for the second time, I was making a phone call to let people know where I was going to stay, that I was on my way. I was an hour or two away. There was a man out in a car who I don't think he knew, or maybe he did, I don't know, but everything I was saying on that phone was coming across his radio in that car, and this is a public payphone. This was not this is hardwired. So anyway, the tech here in Rome, New York, I get lots and lots of hints. I'll say something and it'll show up immediately in conversation from someone that is known to me or is familiar to me, or in other odd places. And these are like hints that, hey, you know, I don't know if they think I'm going to stop doing things because I'm under surveillance. That's been going on much too long. My skin is much too thick to be worried about anything, you know, along those lines. It just doesn't bother me. And as long as I know they're watching and I can judge how large the so-called audience is, then I can take it to the next levels and start, you know, really manipulating them with bad information, because I know what they like. I know what they want to hear. And I tell it to them on my terms and in my way, and with a certain type of timing. And it files them up pretty good. And that's about the only recourse I have. I'm pretty sure I could prove that in an American court. I don't know if there's any of those left, though.